My friend, there comes a time in life when silence speaks louder than words, when the stillness of your soul carries more weight than any argument, when you no longer explain, no longer defend, no longer chase closure from people who never had good intentions to begin with. That time is now. Let me tell you something plain. You don't need to react to everything. You don't need to clap back. You don't need to explain your side. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. The moment you realize that, you begin to walk in power. Some of you have been giving the wrong people too much access to your emotions. You've been letting disrespectful folks pull you out of character. You've allowed manipulation to keep you in situations you've outgrown. Why? Because you think reacting is strength. Because you think having the last word makes you the winner. But strength isn't in reaction. It's in restraint. Power doesn't always shout. Sometimes power walks away without a word. Sometimes power lets go and doesn't look back. Sometimes power doesn't need applause or recognition. It just moves forward with peace. Hear me, protect your peace at all costs. You are not created to live in constant turmoil. You are not designed to carry the weight of toxic relationships, drama-filled friendships, or situations that drain you spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. Peace is not something the world gives you, it's something you guard. When someone comes into your life and repeatedly brings confusion, bitterness, or doubt, you don't owe them a reaction. You owe yourself preservation. Some people aren't confused. They're manipulative. Some people don't misunderstand. They just don't respect you. And you've been reacting, arguing, explaining, trying to get them to see your value. But hear me now. You don't have to convince someone of your worth. When they don't see it, that's your cue to cut them off silently. Every time you react, you feed them. Every time you let their words rile you up, you hand them control. Every time you respond in anger, frustration, or pain, you confirm that they still have a grip on you. But when you go quiet, when you stop responding, when you stop showing up to arguments you didn't start, something shifts. Silence confuses the manipulator. Silence disarms the narcissist. Silence breaks the control. They don't know what to do when you stop reacting. They can't play the game if you put down the pieces. So I'm telling you today, not as a suggestion, but as a warning, stop giving your power away. Stop letting disrespectful people take up space in your soul. Stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. They don't want your truth. They want your energy. Deny them both. Cut them off silently. You've got to wake up and see things for what they are. Not everyone who says, "I'm here for you," is really for you. Not everyone who laughs with you would cry for you. Some are simply spectators. Some are opportunists. Some are leeches, feeding on your kindness while secretly hoping for your downfall. But you have something powerful, discernment. The ability to see beneath the surface. And when that discernment kicks in, don't second guess it. When God shows you who someone is, believe it. Don't argue with the truth just because you're attached to the lie. Don't stay in a situation just because you've invested time. Time is not a reason to keep bleeding. Use your discernment. And when it tells you, this person is no good for me, don't debate, don't discuss. Just disconnect. You can't fulfill your purpose while constantly fighting unnecessary battles. You weren't created to live in survival mode. You've got work to do. You've got dreams to build. You've got destiny to walk in, and you cannot get there if you're always trying to clean up messes that weren't yours in the first place. Some people are distractions, sent to delay you, sent to discourage you, sent to deplete you. And the longer you keep them close, the further you drift from where you're supposed to be. You don't need to curse them. You don't need revenge. You don't need drama. Just close the door, quietly, peacefully, powerfully. And when they come knocking again, don't answer. You've moved on. This isn't bitterness. This is maturity. This is clarity. This is what healing looks like. There is something deep within every human soul that cries out for stillness. Not just the absence of noise, but the presence of peace. A calm that surpasses understanding. A quiet place where your heart can breathe, your mind can rest, and your spirit can settle. That right there, that is peace. And it is priceless. But too many of us are trading that peace for chaos. We're handing it over without even realizing it. Every time you allow someone's opinion to weigh heavier than your own voice, you lose a little bit of it. Every time you argue with someone who's not interested in understanding you, you give a piece of your peace away. Every time you stay in a place where your worth isn't honored or your soul isn't nourished, you are draining a well that's meant to run deep with serenity. Let me ask you, how many times have you sacrificed your peace just to keep a connection? How many times have you let anxiety linger in your spirit because you didn't want to upset someone else? How many nights have you laid awake, heart racing, mind spinning, all because you didn't want to disappoint someone who doesn't even value you? You have to understand, your peace is not a luxury. It's a lifeline. It is not optional. It is essential. And it cannot coexist with certain people, places, or patterns. You are not created to be a dumping ground for other people's dysfunction. You were not born to absorb everyone else's emotional baggage. You were not designed to live in a state of constant survival, constant explanation, constant reaction. Peace is protection. It guards your joy. It guards your wisdom. It guards your clarity. And once you begin to truly taste it, to sit in it, to dwell in it, you will begin to realize how much you've tolerated simply because you didn't know what peace felt like. Some people will tell you that walking away is weakness, that staying in the fight is strength. But that's only true when the fight is worth it. Sometimes the greatest strength is in stepping back, in being quiet, in choosing your sanity over their chaos, in saying nothing, doing nothing, explaining nothing, but walking away with your head held high and your soul still intact. You don't owe your peace to anyone, not to the friend who keeps crossing boundaries, not to the relationship that leaves you empty, not to the job that robs you of your purpose, not to the past that keeps trying to knock on your door. You owe that peace to yourself, to your future, to your calling. Peace is not passive, it is active, intentional, and fiercely guarded. You must decide daily that nothing and no one is worth losing it over. There's a hidden cost to every reaction you give, and most of the time you don't even realize you're paying it. Every time you respond in anger, you give away a piece of your control. Every time you fire back in frustration, you shift the spotlight away from truth and shine it onto the drama. Every time you allow someone else's actions to dictate your emotional state, you are silently handing over the reins to your peace, your mood, and your energy. Some people don't actually want resolution. They want your reaction. They want to pull you into the chaos they're drowning in. They want you to respond so they can twist your words, point fingers, and make you the villain in a story they created. And the more you engage, the more they feed on it. The more you defend yourself, the more they distort the narrative. The more you explain, the more ammunition they collect to use against you later. You think reacting is defending your truth. But in reality, your reaction often becomes the distraction. Silence, on the other hand, is strategy. It's discipline. It's the decision to not play the game on their terms. Silence isn't weakness. It's wisdom wrapped in restraint. It's refusing to give energy to someone who thrives on emotional chaos. It's understanding that the loudest person isn't always the one in control. Sometimes it's the one who refuses to be moved, the one who speaks with presence rather than panic. You must see this clearly. Not every battle is worth your breath. Not every insult needs a rebuttal. Not every dig deserves a reply. There is power in walking away without a word. There is strength in choosing stillness when everything in you wants to strike back. There is mastery in staying calm while they unravel, staying centered while they try to provoke you, staying quiet while they scream for attention. When you no longer react, they lose the power to control the atmosphere. They can yell, accuse, manipulate, but without your response, it all falls flat. Professor, there's no fuel, no spark, no back and forth to keep the fire going. And that, right there, is the moment you take your power back, not by winning an argument, but by refusing to participate in it. People can only play with what you hand them. If you stop handing them your reactions, they lose the grip they had on your emotion. And when you stop giving them your attention, your time, and your energy, they're left with nothing but the echo of their own noise. You weren't born to simply exist. You weren't created just to get by, to survive, to repeat cycles that lead nowhere. You were born with a divine assignment, with a purpose that is sacred and irreplaceable. And the truth is, that purpose is under constant attack. Distractions don't always come dressed as temptation. Sometimes they come wrapped in loyalty. Sometimes they come looking like friendships. Sometimes they arrive in the form of opportunities that look good on the outside but are poison to your calling. Not everything that is available is aligned. Not everything that is loud is leading you somewhere. And not everyone who is close to you is called to walk with you. There are people in your life right now who don't respect your purpose. They love your energy. They benefit from your kindness. They lean on your wisdom, but they do not honor the direction you're headed. And if you're not careful, you'll start carrying people who are never assigned to your journey. You'll start shrinking your vision to make others comfortable. You'll start compromising your pace just to keep certain people around. Purpose demands focus, and focus demands separation. If you're constantly entangled in situations that drain your energy, you won't have strength left for the things that matter. If you're spending all your emotional resources managing someone else's chaos, you'll be too exhausted to build what you were born to build. Sometimes it's not that your dream is too big, it's that your circle is too small-minded. Sometimes it's not that your path is too hard, it's that you've been dragging people along who should have never had access to the direction you're going. Not everyone is meant to be part of your destiny. Some were meant to be part of your development, your learning process, your early chapters, but not your final story. You have to guard your calling like a treasure, because that's exactly what it is. You can't afford to pour into everyone and leave yourself empty. You can't keep explaining your purpose to people who don't even know theirs. You can't keep apologizing for outgrowing environments that once fit you. There's work for you to do. There's ground for you to cover. There's healing for you to release, light for you to carry, change for you to create. But you won't get there tangled in toxic cycles, stuck in emotional debt, or weighed down by people who don't support your growth. There are seasons where you have to step back, not because you're arrogant, not because you're cold, but because your purpose has to come first. There's a reason eagles fly alone. There's a reason mountaintops are quiet. There's a reason the higher you climb, the fewer people you see around you. Elevation requires separation, not because you don't love people, but because the altitude demands it. Not everyone can handle the heights you're headed toward. Not everyone has the lungs to breathe in the thin air of your next level. And the truth is, some people were only assigned to your past, not your future. The tragedy is not that they were part of your story. It's that you tried to keep them in chapters they were never meant to finish. You've been trying to carry people who were never built for the weight of your destiny. You've been shrinking your vision so they won't feel uncomfortable. You've been dimming your light so they don't feel exposed. And while you're doing all that adjusting, your calling is waiting for you to stop negotiating with distractions and start walking in purpose. Growth costs. Oh, growth costs. And one of the first payments is people. There will come a time when you must look around and ask yourself, who is fueling me and who is draining me? Who is adding clarity and who is causing confusion? Who pushes me higher and who pulls me backward? And when that time comes, you won't need to argue. You won't need to fight. You'll just need to decide. Separation doesn't mean hate. It doesn't mean arrogance. It means alignment. You can't elevate while staying connected to what no longer fits. You can't rise while being emotionally tethered to relationships that keep you grounded. The higher you go, the more you'll realize peace is expensive and the price is often detachment. You have to guard your calling like a treasure, because that's exactly what it is. You can't afford to pour into everyone and leave yourself empty. You can't keep explaining your purpose to people who don't even know theirs. You can't keep apologizing for outgrowing environments that once fit you. There's work for you to do. There's ground for you to cover. There's healing for you to release, light for you to carry, change for you to create. But you won't get there tangled in toxic cycles, stuck in emotional debt, or weighed down by people who don't support your growth. There are seasons where you have to step back, not because you're arrogant, not because you're cold, but because your purpose has to come first. There's a reason eagles fly alone. There's a reason mountaintops are quiet. There's a reason the higher you climb, the fewer people you see around you. Elevation requires separation, not because you don't love people, but because the altitude demands it. Not everyone can handle the heights you're headed toward. Not everyone has the lungs to breathe in the thin air of your next level. And the truth is, some people were only assigned to your past, not your future. The tragedy is not that they were part of your story, it's that you tried to keep them in chapters they were never meant to finish. You've been trying to carry people who were never built for the weight of your destiny. You've been shrinking your vision so they won't feel uncomfortable. You've been dimming your light so they don't feel exposed. And while you're doing all that adjusting, your calling is waiting for you to stop negotiating with distractions and start walking in purpose. Growth costs. Growth costs. And one of the first payments is people. There will come a time when you must look around and ask yourself, who is fueling me and who is draining me? Who is adding clarity and who is causing confusion? Who pushes me higher and who pulls me backward? And when that time comes, you won't need to argue. You won't need to fight. You'll just need to decide. Separation doesn't mean hate. It doesn't mean arrogance. It means alignment. You can't elevate while staying connected to what no longer fits. You can't rise while being emotionally tethered to relationships that keep you grounded. The higher you go, the more you'll realize. Peace is expensive and the price is often detachment. Some of the people around you are not bad, they're just not built for your next level. They love the version of you they can predict. They love the you who needed them. They love the past you. But growth threatens comfort, and your elevation will offend those who are more comfortable with your stagnation. And let's be honest, sometimes it's not even about others. Sometimes the separation is from your own habits, your old thinking, your fear, your insecurity, your comfort zones. If you want to go higher, you have to break up with every version of yourself that's content with playing small. Elevation doesn't just demand separation from people. It requires separation from patterns. The next level will cost you. It will cost your comfort, your excuses, your attachments, and sometimes your popularity. But that's the price of growth. That's the price of soaring. That's the price of stepping fully into who you were born to be. There's something deeper than sight, stronger than opinion, and sharper than instinct. It's discernment. It's that inner voice, that divine alert system, that whisper from God that says, "Oh, look closer." Discernment doesn't scream. It doesn't always come with flashing lights, but when it speaks, you better listen. Because it's not just a gift, it's a weapon. Discernment protects you from deception. It sees past the surface. It looks beyond charm, beyond words, beyond image. It exposes intentions that smiles try to cover. It reveals the truth that manipulation tries to mask. Some people know how to say the right things, wear the right mask, perform the right role, but discernment cuts through the performance and shows you the spirit behind the presentation. Not everyone who walks with you is for you. Not everyone who claps is celebrating. Some people only show up to observe, to collect information, to study your every move, not to support, but to sabotage. And if you depend solely on what your eyes see, you'll miss what your spirit is trying to warn you about. That's why discernment is not optional. You need it in your relationships, your business, your friendships, your decisions, every area of your life. It is your spiritual filter. Without it, you'll entertain enemies, partner with manipulators, and build with betrayers. You'll waste time nurturing people who are silently rooting for your downfall. You'll mistake flattery for favor and confusion for connection. Discernment gives you the courage to choose clarity over comfort. Because let's be honest, sometimes we see the truth, but we don't want to face it. We want the connection so badly, we ignore the red flags. We want to believe in people so much, we silence the warnings. But discernment won't let you rest. It will keep pulling at your spirit, unsettling your peace, until you stop and acknowledge what you've been trying not to see. And when you finally do, that's when you have a choice. Will you confront it or excuse it? Will you act on the truth or cling to the illusion? Because discernment doesn't just reveal, it requires response. It demands maturity. It demands that you stop negotiating with things you know are beneath your standard. It demands that you let go of people who aren't aligned with your purpose, no matter how long they've been around. You can't afford to second-guess discernment. It's not paranoia. It's protection. It's not judgment. It's wisdom. You weren't meant to live blindly, to move through life just reacting to what happens. You were meant to see spiritually, to sense beyond the natural, to move with intention and insight. Discernment isn't about being suspicious. It's about being spiritually awake. Let me make it plain. Not everyone can go with you. As you rise, you're going to have to release. You're going to have to walk away from some people you once loved, from some situations you once begged for. And it's not personal, it's purpose. Growth creates distance. The closer you get to who you're called to be, the less room you have for those who don't respect your growth. If they pull you backward, if they make you question your worth, if they make you feel smaller than what you are, cut them off. Don't argue, don't explain, don't announce it on social media. Just move in silence and let your peace speak for itself. So here's the final word. Don't react. Cut them off silently. You've wasted enough time trying to fix what you didn't break. You've exhausted yourself trying to keep people who were never meant to stay. Let them go, quietly. And watch what happens. Because when you stop reacting, you start rising. When you stop responding, you start healing. When you stop explaining, you start building. Let your silence become your strength. Let your boundaries speak louder than your words. Let your peace become your loudest clapback. You don't owe them a thing, not a message, not a paragraph, not a final call. Just walk away, stand tall, stay quiet, and let your life speak for you.